Hey, it's your girl, Dr. Kiiyonna Jones, aka Sidepreneur Nurse, owner and founder of Luxe Beauty and Wellness Boutique and Luxe Beauty Academy. And I help nurses, nurse practitioners, doctors, healthcare professionals monetize their license so that they can live the life they deserve. Welcome to my channel, and I am so excited for today's topic because it is something that I get a lot of questions about and something that I'm very passionate about because it actually is one of the specialties that I started in as a med spa owner that catapulted me into an aesthetic business owner. So before we get into all the tea, if you find value in this video or in any of my other videos, please be sure to subscribe. Also, share it with your friends. Don't gatekeep. I'm giving the value. It's free. You can let other people know so that they can also monetize their licenses. So today's topic is very special. It's near and dear to my heart because when I first started my business, I actually started in IV hydration. And I want to talk a little bit about why I think IV hydration is an amazing business to get started in, especially as healthcare professionals who have never been entrepreneurs. As nurses, we are very, very comfortable with starting IVs generally. Now, of course, I understand those who may not have been at the bedside in a while or are in other clinical capacities or even in leadership. They may not start IVs that often. And so, but even still, when we started healthcare, we did. And so therefore, there's a certain knowledge base that we already have just because we were in a clinical capacity and we're very comfortable with IVs, right? So I always say it's kind of the gateway into the aesthetic industry because most of your clients that you will get, they're also interested in aesthetics, but then also it's the path of least resistance because now all you need to learn about is the business side, like how to set up the business, but not so much the clinical side, because most of us are extremely comfortable with starting IVs. So this is why it's a really good industry to get into. Not only that, it's very low cost. In most states, you can start a concierge business. You can start it with a minimal cost. And what I love also about it is that you don't have to have a lot of product on hand. You can actually, most compounding pharmacies, you can purchase your product 24 hours before and get it the next day, as long as it's 24 business hours. So that's really good. That means you don't have to spend a lot of money on all this product and hope people book. You can actually have your automation set up where people can only book 2 days out, so that they can't book, for example, for tomorrow. They can only book for the next day. That way you get time to get in your vitamins if you are going to treat them. So it's really, really, really good industry. So I decided to do a video on the 10 steps to start your concierge IV hydration business. Not just IV hydration, but concierge. And I love the idea, and concierge and mobile is used synonymously. I prefer to use the term concierge because, first of all, we're not mobile. Mobile just sounds real basic, okay? We are providing a level of convenience for our clients, and therefore our price point should support that, okay? And so that's why I refer to it as concierge. So I got a list. And I want to make sure I don't leave anything out on the 10 steps to start your concierge IV hydration business. I think if you are able to, let's say you are one who know that you're not going to be able to stop working, which I don't recommend either. I started as I'm still working full time, and I just gradually became a full-time entrepreneur over years. It took me 3 years before I was able to officially be a full-time entrepreneur. And so I was not willing to not work and take care of my family to pursue entrepreneurship. So I decided to do it on the side. And so the people who generally work with me are ones who want to do it on the side as well. So let's talk about the 10 steps to starting your concierge IV hydration business. The first thing I want you to know is if you can actually start it. And I'm focusing on California in this one just because a lot of California nurses tend to ask me this question, and I'll make more videos for specific states, okay? That way it gives you a lot of information on what you should do in your state and how to go about finding out if you can actually do it. If there is something that I touch on that's general, I'll say it, and this goes for every state. I'll make sure that I say that so you'll know, okay, this applies to me too. So number one, What's your scope of practice? The first thing you need to do once you decide, all right, I'm about to start this IV hydration, this concierge IV hydration business. I'm ready to do it. It's my year. I'm tired of being scared. I'm about to step out. Once you make that decision, the first thing you need to do is find out, are you able to do it in your state? Now, here are some common questions I get regarding if I can do it, okay? I get a lot of like medical assistants or phlebotomists or other people who may not be nurses, but let's say they're IV certified or they inject, or EMTs, for example, and they inject. And so they're like, can I start an IV hydration business? In the state of California, if you are not a registered nurse, let's say you're a licensed vocational nurse, or if you're an EMT, the answer is yes, but you have to be IV certified. An RN or registered nurse does not have to be IV certified to start an IV hydration business, but an LVN or an EMT does need to be IV certified in order to start their IV hydration business. Now, what about medical assistant? What about phlebotomist? Based on our current laws in the state of California, you are not able to start, and that means practice in an IV to start IVs on a patient, okay? So therefore, you are not able to own your IV hydration business under your license. And that's the key there. I say under your license because there's always little quirky laws, and especially in California, if you are a healthcare professional, you can own 49%, because we are corporate practice of medicine state. So you can own 49% of a medical practice. You just can't have majority ownership. Majority ownership has to be a medical director in the state of California. So I would look into, regardless of where you are, if you're a healthcare professional, I would find out in the state of California, and I'm focusing on the state of California. In the state of California, would I qualify as a phlebotomist or a medical assistant? Would I qualify as other healthcare professional? Because that's what the category is. It's like 49% can be owned by other healthcare professionals. So your question needs to be, does that apply to me or not, or whatever? So from what I know is LVNs, yes, ENTs, yes, and of course RNs, NPs, yes. Speech pathologists, so physical therapists, they fall under there. So you may, and I would look into that. You really want to be clear because that is going to help you navigate this journey as you are building your business. You want to know, like, what am I able to do? So for example, someone who is a physical therapist, they're in healthcare, yes, and they can own 49%, but they're not able to start IVs. So that just means that they can partake in ownership, but they can't be practitioners, of course, because that's not in their scope of practice. So you want to find out and be clear. Can you own it? If you can, at what capacity? And then also you want to make sure if you can actually practice in it. LVNs who are IV certified, yes. RNs, of course, yes. Nurse practitioners, of course, yes. EMTs who are IV certified, yes. But for like MAs and also phlebotomists, even if you're IV certified, you need to find out if you can take ownership, but you can definitely not practice, okay? So you can't start an IV and mix the vitamins, okay? All right. I want to make sure everyone understands that starting an IV hydration business is medical. It is a mobile medical clinic if you're starting concierge. It is a medical. So you still have to abide by the same rules and regulations that other mobile medical clinics have to abide by, or other mobile public health clinics or wellness clinics, or you still have to abide by the same regulations, okay? I know people are just like, well, it's vitamins, it's not a big deal. It does not matter. It is still the practice of medicine, and these medications have to be ordered by the physician, okay? You can't even set up an account if you don't have a medical provider's license. You can't even order the supplies, okay? I get people who send me messages and they're like, can you give us your vendor? And I'm like, this is not you selling t-shirts. This is not you selling appliances or small little knickknacks. This is medicine. And so you can't just be like, tell me where you go to get your medication. No, you have to have the account set up correctly, and you have to make sure that the licensed medical provider is on file for the account that you create, okay? All right, number 2, after you have done your research and you're like, all right, cool, I can do it, then we're gonna go to step 2. Step 2 is your market research. Okay, here's what I want people to know when it comes to IV hydration businesses. I know it feels like the market is saturated, but it's not. It's really not. I want you guys to understand that since 2020, we already were veering towards the wellness space as a population, but COVID-19 shined a bright light on how much we really don't take care of ourselves. And it really made people more aware that they need to be self-conscious and focused on wellness. We don't want to live in a sick care system, although we do still right now. But the goal is to stay well and not get sick and try to get better after we get sick, but the goal is to stay well. And so people want this, you guys. It is not a hard sell. There's a lot of people who will tell you like, okay, I heard of it, don't really know a lot about it, but here's where a lot of people miss when they are starting their IV hydration business. They think everybody is gonna be their client, and everybody is not. You have to niche down. And here are some things I want you to make sure when you think about who is it that I'm gonna sell to? And I'm gonna even give you guys some examples. Like I'm gonna give you all the tea, okay? I'm gonna give you guys some examples. Your clients, this is for any business. This is a principle. It's not just like for IV hydration or concierge IV hydration. This is just for business. You wanna make sure that your niche and your market has the ability and willingness to buy. Now, some people may have the ability to buy, but they're not willing. They're like, I don't know why I wouldn't know. It ain't worth it to me. Then you got other people that may have the willingness, like I really want this, but guess what? They can't afford it. So you have to be very intentional on deciding on your market. Here are a few examples of some markets that you should tap into if you're thinking about starting an IV hydration business, a concierge IV hydration business. Corporate wellness programs. Corporate wellness programs are amazing. Think about, and I'm sure some of you may know about like the flex spending accounts or health spending accounts. What if you partner with some of these corporations that have them, which is almost all of them, that have these accounts, and offer them to come in and treat their employees, or be the contact person, or you're a concierge, so you can go where they are and drip them after their shift or at the end of the day or, before their weekend, or there's so many things you can do. You can even be the #1 vendor for that corporation. Why are people not tackling this? Like literally the business office that's by your house or that's downtown from your house or wherever, you can literally leave your business cards there or find out who the HR person is or who the person is that you need to contact and get a relationship with them and develop or have a contract with them where you are the go-to person for their wellness and IV hydration. People don't think about that. The next group of people, I actually put this, for those of you who don't know, I'm on Instagram too. I'm Psypreneur_nurse. And one of the things that people miss out is you gotta be in the mindset of who has the ability and willingness to pay, but more importantly, who needs this? It's people who has to stay well in order to make money, right? So think about the people that work a lot. Like this is what they do. Like they are their brand. Who are those people? Who are the people that are always on planes or private jets? Who are they? Who are the people who may be up late nights, maybe around a lot of liquor? That's a part of their business and their brand. Hint, hint, industry, the industry, right? You can target those people and be that person for them. I would pass out flyers at airports. And I'm not just talking about airports. I'm talking about airports where there are private jets. I would pass out my flyers there. I would go to the cruise ships and offer to be on the ships, or have one of my team members, by the way. I would hire somebody to do this. I probably wouldn't do it. But one of them on the ship to be able to drip clients. And because guess what? They get drunk there. They need a hangover trip. So you got to be creative. You got to figure out who your market is. And the reason why this is number 2 is because once you figure out your market, you're going to know how to market to them. The way you're going to market to a corporation, if you're trying to get a contract with a corporation, is not going to be the same way you're going to market to someone in the entertainment industry. It's just not. And so in order for you to make sure that you are marketing correctly, you have to make sure that you have your marketing message down packed based on your audience, and you want to determine your target market based on their ability and willingness to buy. Okay, so that's number 2. The next thing is, and this is, a lot of people miss this, work on your portfolio. Work on your portfolio. You as a nurse, if you're a nurse, if you're an LVN, if you're a nurse practitioner and you're in the state of California, although we do have, and I know this is a big deal, people keep talking about this, we are considered a transition to practice state now, right? So we're not a full practice authority state, we're a transition to practice state, which means that nurse practitioners, given that they apply and meet the criteria, they have more autonomy, but they cannot be your medical director. So with that being said, you want to make sure if you're a nurse or a nurse practitioner or LVN, you got to come correct because you need a medical director. And so one thing that we do in our IV hydration training, by the way, I haven't even told you guys, I have IV hydration training, which is the 60-day blueprint to start your IV hydration business with myself and my business partner, Crystal. And we really, really hammer home portfolio, having your portfolio together, because a lot of people think like, oh, well, I'm going to just find my medical director by like asking Dr. Doe, who works with me, to do me a favor. Dr. Doe's not doing you a favor. This is business. And so you want to take this serious and really take inventory on your assets and your skill set and why someone would want to work with you. And I can tell you, when potential medical directors or doctors, when they find out that you have put some skin in the game and you have taken the time to invest in yourself, you have taken the time to build your portfolio, you have taken the time to create your business plan. We haven't got to that yet, but that was the next one. You have taken the time to create your business plan. They will take you more serious and be more willing to work with you. So work on your portfolio. Now, here's the thing. I want to point out to you, number 1, was your scope of practice. Number 2 was your market research. Number 3 was your portfolio, working on your portfolio. And here's the thing, we have not talked about finding a medical director yet. You have to do the internal work first. And I want you to not miss that when I'm dropping, right? You should work on you before you try to approach anyone. A lot of people make the mistake and they're just like, okay, I made the decision. I'm just about to go out and ask Dr. Doe if he really to be my medical director. It's like, no, you want to approach this situation as a business because it is. And this is a very lucrative business and one that could set you up to live the life you deserve, to potentially even leave the bedside, relieve yourself of mental, physical, and emotional exhaustion. You need to make sure that you spend some time on yourself, okay? And I know that's a hard pill to swallow, but hey, I don't sugarcoat nothing. All right, so work on your portfolio. Just really quickly, in your portfolio, you should have your resume. You should have the business plan, which that's number 5. Number 4. You should have your business plan. You should already have talked to them about your target market, which is included in your business plan, and you already know what you can do. Because when you approach your medical director, most likely, unless they already are medical director for other IV hydration, concierge IV hydration businesses, they're not going to know a lot. So they're going to need you to be the expert. And so your goal is to knock their socks off by showing them how much you've already invested in this and how much you know. And so that they can trust that you're going to be able to run this and handle this, and they'll be able to do their thing from the medical perspective. Okay. All right. And so the number 4 was going to be your business plan. And some of these you guys kind of go hand in hand, but since I'm doing steps, I had to break it down. So I would start working on the portfolio, begin with doing like your resume, your CV, and then segue into the business plan, of course. And then your business plan would be included in your portfolio. Spending time on your business plan. The benefit in you having the business plan is you'll be working on your portfolio at the same time. And that takes us to number 5, which is going to be decide on your business model. Since you're doing concierge, that has been decided, and that will be an extremely low cost because you will be doing concierge. I cannot tell you guys how valuable that is, because overhead can really run up the cost monthly by having, you have to have Wi-Fi, you have to have, if you decide to have cable, you also have to have your electricity, you have to have insurance on your brick and mortar. So the price can seem to go up when you have brick and mortar. I like the idea of concierge because you're starting out slow, you're learning the business side, and you're only taking clients as they book, and you're not being overwhelmed, okay? And you can spend a lot of time on marketing because of that. All right, so the business model we were talking about is concierge. So you decided on the business model, that also is included in your portfolio and when you'll be talking to your medical director. The next thing to do is obtain a medical director. Again, in the state of California, your medical director has to be a medical doctor. No, a nurse practitioner cannot be your medical director. I understand that we are a transition to practice state as of January 1st, 2023, but they cannot be your medical director. You have to have a medical doctor. And if you are a nurse practitioner, even though we are a transition to practice state, you still need a medical doctor to be your medical director. You cannot be your own medical director, even as a nurse practitioner, even if you met the criteria. By the way, I have another video discussing the California law of transition to practice, AB 890. By the way, you can check that out. But even if you met criteria and you are now a nurse who has more of an advanced practice than a nurse practitioner who has more of an advanced practice, you still have to have a medical director. So, all right, that's number 6. That was obtain a medical director. Number 7 and number 8, I'm gonna kind of merge them together, but I would say for the most part, 7 kind of comes before 8, but I'll just make this number 7 because it just makes more sense. So I am a firm believer of obtaining an attorney, not just any attorney, by the way, a healthcare law attorney. This comes from experience that I had that was not so great, where I actually hired 2 different attorneys that set me up with the wrong corporation, because what I did not realize is it's not one size fits all when it comes to attorneys. Sorry to say it. So just like any other specialty in healthcare, there are certain attorneys that specialize in certain law. And so it's not just an attorney is an attorney is an attorney. You have to make sure you find a healthcare law attorney, and ideally one that specializes in like aesthetic businesses or IV hydration. So here's why, which is also a portion of number 7. You have to consider your licensing, your fees, your regulatory documents, your compliance documents. You have to consider all that. And if you find a healthcare law attorney that specializes in aesthetics and IV hydration, most likely they'll have your compliance packet, they'll have your operating agreement, they have all the things that you need for your medical director to sign. Not your medical documents, by the way. They won't have your consents and all of that. They're not doctors. They're attorneys, and their goal is to protect your corporation and make sure that you have met all the state and federal requirements, okay? And so that's why it's really, really, really good to obtain a healthcare law attorney and allow them to form your corporation. And also it will be based on your individual needs as a business owner. I strongly suggest that. All right, so that's number 7. And when you meet with them, that's going to include your business regulation. If you need a medical license to set this corporation up in the state of California, you will, unless you're setting up a management services organization. I'm not a healthcare law attorney, so I'm not giving you legal advice, but I do want to let you know that when you talk to your healthcare law attorney, they're going to help you decide if a management services organization is best or if you should get a professional corporation. That's a P Corp, which is what's required for medical corporation in the state of California. So that's number 7. Once you get your corporation, that's assuming you have your medical director, you've done all 7 and up already. The next step is it's time to get your systems going. So for a concierge business, what I love about this is there are so many apps and software that you can use and set your business up in a way that you don't have to do anything. Like clients can literally click on your landing page or click your link in your bio. They can schedule their appointment. They can get a return email with the consents. They can fill out the consents. They can send it back to you. They have their appointment, and all you have to do when you see that client booking, or have your assistant, if you have a virtual assistant, all you have to have them do is go online, order the vitamins based on what the treatment is that they are paying for. order those vitamins, and show up. I love that, because before that wasn't an option. So to be able to automate the process, there are apps like Booksy, you can use Calendly. I used to use Book It. So there are so many that you'll find. Acuity, there is just so many, and you can definitely automate your business. And this is why, another reason, I've said many, but this is another reason why concierge is so great, because once you've done the work and you set it up, like, you can literally just show up to your appointment, make sure you look over their consent. If there's anything not concerning, proceed, but if it is, you can always call them. But you set your calendar up where you decide the days that you were gonna take clients, and that's amazing. When it comes to marketing, now I do wanna emphasize, marketing can be done throughout, but since I'm giving you guys steps, this is where I put marketing. But I have a method that I teach in my Med Spa Startup Bootcamp, and also we teach it in the IV Hydration Training. It's called the COST method. The COST method stands for content, CO, skills, and testimonial. When you first start your business, your main focus is to get clients in. You want to perfect your automation, because there will be hiccups and things that you'll have to go through for sure, but you want to get it really get a seamless process, which will take time. So you'll have your clients booking, you may have family members come and you just charge them the cost of the product. You may not even try to make a profit, because you're trying to get yourself established as an authority in the industry, an industry expert, and also let people know that you have this. What I love about the cost method is it doesn't put the strain of like, oh, I gotta make so much money. It's like your first 10 clients, iron out your kinks. Like, that's gonna help set you up for success with your business and longevity in your business. So get your 10 people, tell them you're running a special, take the time and learn about the vitamins and the different injectables that you're gonna offer, and just really grow and understand your role as an entrepreneur, which is very important. So I call it the cost method. That's number 10. That's when you're basically finding the people to come and you're documenting the process. So you're getting a lot of content, you're getting testimonials from them, like, hey, how did you like it? How did you feel? And then also you are establishing yourself as an authority in the space. And then number 10 is marketing. But again, like I said, you can market throughout the process. And that can simply be just telling people, hey, I'm starting an IV hydration business. But when you get down to the point where you actually have everything created, you can market using social media, you can use TikTok, you can come on YouTube and create a YouTube channel and establish yourself as an industry expert on vitamins. But this requires research, but I can tell you, these are free. And so don't sleep on them. A lot of people want to throw money at the problem, when sometimes what you need to do is dig deeper, and you need to study it, and you need to research it, and you need to start getting out there on these platforms. TikTok is great because they're just giving you access to all their people. Instagram is a more slow growth process, but that's free. It's a free app that you're able to get on. I mean, you have to think about that. You don't want to just hit the gate and start doing ads. Okay, ads is not the way to go, especially when you're trying to figure out your market. So those are the 10 steps to starting your concierge IV hydration business in the state of California. I hope that I've added some value for you. If I have, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Also, don't be a gatekeeper. Make sure you share this with your other nurse bosses, your nurse practitioner bosses, your medical directors, because this page is all about giving value and encouraging you to monetize your nursing license or your nurse practitioner certification or your medical license. I don't care what it is. Monetize it. I don't care if it's even on the side, so that you can live the life you deserve. Thanks for tuning in. My name is Dr. Kiiyonna Jones. We'll release our videos twice a week. If you have any questions, any input, any feedback, anything you want me to make a video on, please feel free to comment below. Take care.